I am in the beautiful Gunter Hotel in San Antonio. This place has a very, very special story, and I'm here with Brittany. She's going to tell us a little bit about this hotel and its connection to the legendary blues artist Robert Johnson. They
Sure.
actually have a speakeasy named after him.
Bar 414, which is the room actually where Robert Johnson recorded his first album, which we have dedicated as a suite. But we have a whole speakeasy bar named after room 414, so I can show it to you guys if you want to join.
Awesome. And look, it's behind a painting. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, this is cool.
So we actually just completed our $60 million renovation and rebranding where we have dedicated the whole space to bringing back what makes us special, and that for us is music. So this whole rebranding was a tribute to music and Robert Johnson. So this bar has been here since we opened the hotel. It's open right now Thursdays through Saturday with live music. We're going to be fully open, hopefully end of February, early March, but we'll have light bites available. Again, live music, every genre you can think of, jazz, blues, country. So it's going to be very exciting. This is one of the most favorite spots for locals. So you'll see people, we have two entrances, speakeasy side in the hotel and then the street entrance over there.
This hotel was built in 1909.
So part of our renovation was including a new studio lounge and studio bar that's attached to a recording studio where we're going to be having this space available for bookings or inviting artists, whether they're local or traveling, to come and kind of create that magic again and have this creative haven for people to join. Our goal is to create this space again where people feel welcome to come be artists again. So this right here is the lounge area. It has the terrace, we have a mini bar, and then our recording studio, which is going to be open this spring.
So if you're not sure who Robert Johnson was, he was a legendary blues musician born in Mississippi. What year? We just looked it up. Around 1911, it said. They don't actually know a whole lot about his life, but they do know he recorded 2 albums. Both were recorded in Texas, one in Dallas, and one right here in San Antonio in the Gunter Hotel. In fact, this room here that we're going to look at in just a minute is the room where he recorded one of those albums, and they have it as a special suite. What can you tell me about this?
Yeah, so the Robert Johnson Suite is one of 30 of our specialty suites named after really great conductors and artists, but this one is one of a kind, so we can...
I interrupt the hotel video to bring you a little more information on the life of Robert Johnson. He was born in 1911 in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, and he grew up surrounded by the raw ingredients of the blues, you know, field hollers, gospel shouts, and the restless rhythms of rural life. He spent some of his childhood in Memphis, getting an education and falling in love with the music all around him. But his early years were marked by heartbreak. He had a young wife, Virginia, who died in childbirth. That was a loss that shattered him, and her family accused Robert of causing the tragedy because he played the devil's music. And later he fathered a child with a girl named Fergie Mae Smith. But the young mother's family forbade Robert to see Fergie or the baby. They even refused money for the child's care just because it was earned playing devil music. Well, after that, Johnson, bitter in grief, just really threw himself into music with more restless determination than ever. And he just drifted. New York, Canada, Chicago, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Arkansas. He would shack up with women. He was using different surnames, never staying long, never revealing too much. People remembered him as polite and soft-spoken, but just kind of impossible to read or pin down. He played on street corners and juke joints, outside barbershops, anywhere a crowd might gather, just to make some money. But by the mid-1930s, Johnson had become a master guitarist. He was shaped by mentors like Son House and Ike Zimmerman, and his technique was so advanced that people whispered about deals with the devil. That's right. They say he met the devil at the crossroads, that Robert handed over his guitar, the devil tuned it, and when he gave it back, Johnson went from a mediocre player to a brilliant one. But it was going to cost him, right? Well, the truth, of course, is much simpler. In the rural South, any music outside the church was labeled the devil's music, and those who played it were said to have given their soul to him. And that's likely how the legend was born. And as for Johnson's dramatic improvement, well, that came from work, long nights practicing with Ike Zimmerman, living inside the music and playing anywhere he could. And then came the moment that preserved his legacy forever. In 1936, Johnson recorded the first half of his entire catalog in a makeshift studio set up in San Antonio at the Gunter Hotel, and that was followed by a second session in Dallas. Across just 29 songs, he captured performances that would echo across nearly every genre that followed. Johnson died in 1938. He was just 27 years old. And it was under circumstances still debated today, but I think most people believe he was poisoned by a jealous husband. But after that, his influence only grew. His music became the blueprint for the blues, the spark for rock and roll, and the quiet force behind some of the most important artists of the 20th century. And while some music historians minimize Johnson's contributions to modern music, others claim it was substantial. I personally lead towards substantial because in 1961, Columbia Records released some of his songs on a new album. It was called King of the Delta Blues Singers, and suddenly the world heard what happened inside that San Antonio hotel room. Young musicians in Britain, including Eric Clapton, Keith Richards, Jimmy Page, well, they were electrified. Bob Dylan called Johnson's music deep and meaningful, and of course Chuck Berry borrowed Johnson's boogie patterns and built early rock and roll on top of those. All of that's undeniable. In room 414, the Gunter Hotel in San Antonio, Texas, Johnson recorded his song Sweet Home Chicago, later transformed into a blues rock standard by Fleetwood Mac, Eric Clapton, the Blues Brothers, and every cover band ever in every city. That album also contains Crossroad Blues, which was reborn as Crossroads by Cream. It became one of the most iconic guitar recordings in rock history. Yes, those two songs make Robert Johnson responsible for some vintage pop gold. There were other very important songs musicians know, like Believe I'll Dust My Broom, Love in Vain, Rambling on My Mind. Those were songs that became foundational texts for electric blues and British rock. They were carried forward by Elmore James, the Rolling Stones, countless others. In 1986, when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted its very first class, Robert Johnson was among them, a testament to how deeply his fingerprints run through music all over the world. They said notably that Johnson was possibly the world's first rock star. Today, he stands as one of the most consequential musicians in history, a man who recorded only 29 songs, yet shaped the sound of so much that came after.
But this one is one of a kind, so we can go inside and take a look. We've already had a lot of guests inquire about, musicians specifically, inquire about coming to stay here and record albums in the room to get that same vibe and experience and bring that magic
In fact,
back.
John Mellencamp was here in the early 2000s, and he recorded in here, you know, just to feel the vibe. So let's go take a look.
Yeah.
Robert, are you in there? This is cool.
So as you can see, we have the in-room turntables with every room having...
Wait, you have turntables in every room in this hotel?
Every single room.
How many rooms are there?
There's 311 rooms and 30 suites.
No way.
And every room has the Robert Johnson record in here. Guests can go to our vinyl library, which has over 1,000 records, check in records, and then bring them to their rooms. So it's a whole musical experience here.
I love it. We'll go down and check out that library, but yeah, let's just feel this vibe. Robert Johnson here in 1936. Now here's where the Robert Johnson legend is very, very cool. They say he met the devil at the crossroads in Mississippi and sold his soul for fame in music. And when he died, he was 27 years old. Thus the beginning of the 27 Club, that of course included Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, and others. Now, this is Gibby. Get this, his title is Vinyl Ambassador.
Vinyl ambassador.
That
yes.
is very cool.
Yes, basically what I do is curate the vinyl collection here at the Gunter Hotel. I also give recommendations, do a lot of the vinyl care. I think the best part of the job is being able to curate a soundtrack here in the lobby, and then as well as introduce people to new music. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know every single thing about every artist, but I know a lot, and I've always loved like sharing stories with the guests because albums bring back so much nostalgia. So many stories come with it, and it's great. I would say about 3 out of 4 of our guests participate. So we allow our guests to check out 3 albums throughout their entire stay. They can swap out just like a regular library. It's a very personal listening experience that we're providing here.
Yes, and how unique. Do you know of any other hotels doing such a thing?
Not in San Antonio, I do not know. There are other boutique hotels that do have, I guess, a library, but not really a ambassador to help guide the guest and try to make it just a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
Personal experience.
Tell me something about the legend of Robert Johnson. I kind of covered it before.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want to hear what you have to say about Robert Johnson.
So I like the mysterious mystique of Robert Johnson, from my understandings, and there's a lot of different stories that go on out there.
Right.
If I could sum it up really quick, there was a record label that wanted to show a new style of music, and that new style of music was the Delta Blues, and there was a list of hotels that they were going to record through. Gunter Hotel being one of them. Robert Johnson wants to make his way to Texas from Mississippi, where things get a little bit hazy, and I kind of like to, you know, like the mystics part of it.
Yeah.
He does come to the actual crossroads, which is a real place where it's Highway 49 and 61 intersect, and it is an actual spot. Legend has it, if you go on a moonless night, you are able to summon the devil, and it is said on that particular night, the devil tuned his guitar. From the things I read, he was a little bit of a below average player, but by the time he got to Texas, he was phenomenal. And so he never wanted anybody to ever see the way that he was playing, so he also recorded very much into the corner. Some people say it was because it was the devil's hands. Who knows, right? But his album was recorded here, and he did pass a year later.
Just a year later.
Just a year later. So.
One more question. Do you think his ghost walks these halls?
Of course. And
I
I think every time we tell the story, I think every time we tell the legend, and I think every time we play an album in the tribute of things, his spirit will always be here at the Gunter.
So with that, thanks for joining me for Julie's Rock and Roll Travel Show at the Gunter Hotel in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you, Gibby.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks so much for watching, and please take a second to like and subscribe.